Hello! In this video we're going to show you some of the benefits of using the My Projects function within EstimatorXpress. This function allows you to link together estimates so that you can then have all the data from multiple estimates in one place. One example of this would be where you have done multiple estimates for one client. He has agreed to all those jobs, so you can then link all the estimates together so that you have one set of data for purchasing, for example. Another example of this is where you can link together all the separate estimates that you've won for a period of time. This will then give you a set of data for that particular period of time for things such as overall material purchasing, cash flow, and profit forecasts. So let's make a quick project so you can see this in action. I'm going to make an annual project, so this is where I'm going to emulate the idea that this is going to be all the estimates that my business has won for the next 12 months, so I can group all that data and make use of that. So as you can see here, I'm going to create a project for this year, and this is what we call a workload project. I've now got 4 jobs here which I have set up and scheduled to be running through 2017. This is now grouped this data all together in one place. So these are all different estimates for different customers, but this now gives me what is essentially the sales and purchasing data for the business of construction for the next 12 months. So the first thing we're going to look at is the Gantt chart. As you can see, we have our 4 estimates grouped together. Now I've already prepared these individually within each estimate, and what this has done is now link them all together so you can see how they run side by side. And we can see that I've got one job starting and finishing here. This job here starts part way through, another job starting when this first job finishes, and I've got a large job here which starts when the others have all finished. So in its simplest form, this is a nice overview chart of all your projects over a period of time. This of course is helpful to make sure that you're planning for correct employee numbers and also things like plant ordering. As you can see, there's a lot of information on here, so you can print this out, and when you print it out you can actually print it out on different formats of paper, landscape and portrait, and you can also spread it over multiple sheets, so you may want to actually print this 2 sheets wide and 2 sheets high, so that would actually give you a 4-page printout which would spread it out a lot more. This would be very handy if you had a Gantt chart here where you had say 10 or more jobs on. It would become very compacted, so printing it out on multiple sheets would actually make it a lot easier to view. Okay, so that's a quick look at the Gantt chart. Let's go and have a look at some of the data. Okay, so we have a lot of reports in here. Now I'm just going to highlight 3 to give you an idea of the sort of data that you might find very useful for your business. The first one I'm going to look at is the cash flow report. Now what this is giving us is a cash flow essentially for 12 months. Because it's got the data from all our one business in there, it now gives you all the information to see when you have outlay through the period of the next year. It shows you cumulative costs and a total figure. So you can see that your outlay for the next year will be approximately £187,000. You can also see when major cash outlays are required. This of course means that you can then make sure that you have correct payment schemes in place with all your clients. The next very useful report is a profit forecast. You can now see a profit forecast for the period of all the group of your estimates. In this case I've got essentially here a 12-month profit forecast. Again, we can see when profit amounts are being made, cumulative profit, and again at the bottom a total figure. So the gross profit we're going to have is around 56,000. On my estimates I've used a 30% markup, so that means that typically my net profit is going to be around 28 to 30,000. That would be a figure for a typical small business. Normally it's around 15%. This means as a business owner, you can then make business decisions based on the knowledge of you having around a £28,000 to £30,000 net profit over the next 12 months. You may wish to expand the business by taking on a further employee. It could be a project manager or another estimator or a salesman, and you know that you have enough profit within the future next 12 months to cover that. One of the risks with any small business, of course, is expanding too quickly. If you have an idea of the profits that you're going to be making, you can then make the right decision. You might come up with a smaller figure than this and realise you actually don't have enough money in there, or that you would at least be aware of the risk. It could also be that you need to make some capital expenditure, you want to buy some new equipment, new premises, etc. The third report I'm going to look at is the materials used report. And I know that this is very dear to a builder's heart, but in here we now have one report which shows us the material ordering for the next 12 months. So if you get to the bottom of this report, we can see that we're going to be spending nearly £95,000 with our merchant in the next 12 months. Armed with this information, you could then go into your merchant and negotiate for a bit more discount, because instead of you going in and talking about small figures, because you've grouped together all your estimates, you can actually say to them, we will be spending this much money in the next 12 months. I'd like an extra few percent here and a few percent there. And obviously every single penny that you save now, considering that your estimates have already been won, means that that money will then go into your back pocket and actually increase your company's net profit. Okay, hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight into how MyProjects works. Remember that this becomes a very useful business tool. Effectively, you're using it for forecasting over a period of time and to group together data. And that will help your business immensely.